Hey, what's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of It Came from the 80s, hosted by the Nerf Herders. It's a gathering of old friends who try to stay cool in the 21st century while reliving our childhood dreams. I'm your host, Carter. Joining us, as always, on the podcast is Ray, the critic after the credits. And rounding out our trio is Jason, the token millennial, resident nerd, and that jackass that won't shut up. So, guys, what's on the agenda this week?
Okay, guys, some Star Wars news to kind of jump into, since we are a Star Wars themed podcast, even though, Ray, I know you hate Star Wars at the moment because it ruined your childhood with the last two horrible movies. One thing to talk about is they released on StarWars.com, kind of followed this. There's a book coming out called Alphabet Squadron, and it's also going to be released same time as a comic book miniseries called Star Wars TIE Fighter, which sounds kind of interesting. Kind of, TIE Fighter, Star Wars TIE Fighter game was one of my favorites, so I'm kind of curious about this comic. And then basically the series says that the book and the comic will be both to be in April around the same time as the novel trilogy. Not much is really said about the book, but the comic book says it follows an elite squadron of TIE fighter pilots known as Shadow Wing to protect Imperial interests. So I haven't read a comic book in, I don't know, 20 years. I might consider picking this one up. The books, I've always kind of enjoyed the Star Wars books. Alphabet Squadron, it looks kind of interesting. I'm kind of more interested in the comic book. What do you guys do any printed media Star Wars stuff anymore?
I've never gotten into it. My brothers did. They were hardcore into it. I was more on the Star Wars video game side of the house, but doesn't mean I'm not opposed to it. I just life gets in the way of me doing anything that's reading unless it's a movie. So, Ray, what about you?
No, I really haven't gotten into like the comic book part of it. Again, I'm just waiting. I'm sorry.
I know, but it's, I know your take.
Yeah, I'm trying not to be Debbie Downer on this podcast, especially when it comes to Star Wars, because I know we're supposed to be Star Wars themed. But no, I'm not interested in a comic book or anything. I just want them to get the films right, to be totally honest. I guess I still feel like that we haven't explored everything from the what's the word, Skywalker family yet. So I'm more interested in those type of things, like X Squadron. God, I can't talk this today. I'm not really interested in. Sorry.
That's fine. I mean, the cool thing about this that kind of piqued my interest is the Star Wars TIE Fighter in all caps. So it kind of brought that to my attention. And Jason and I had been talking for a while, and Jason pulled the trigger and bought a new PC, and he's going to do a little bit of gaming. And we were talking the other day about some great 90s era video games, and one of them that came to my mind was Star Wars TIE Fighter. That whole series, this the X-Wing, TIE Fighter, and then X-Wing versus TIE Fighter, clever names there, Lucas. And then they had a Rogue Squadron game, were some of the most fun video game experiences I'd had in a long time. Jason, you and I had talked. Ray, did you play much PC games growing up?
Intellivision was the very first system that I had, so I never really played any PC games. I went from Intellivision to Nintendo to Super Nintendo to PlayStation. So no, but let me ask you a question. Since we are talking about games, has there ever been a good like Jedi game where like you're a Jedi and you go on missions or anything like that? Because I might have missed it.
Yeah, there were a couple of them. There's Jedi Outcast, Jedi Knight, Jedi Academy,
Force Unleashed.
Yeah, Force Unleashed was okay. I didn't really like those as much because they I don't feel like they felt were canon, and they kind of, I don't know. There's no mention of a clone Jedi guy that's a clone of I think it was like Luke or whoever, and it was weird. It's a good game, but story wise, it was kind of weird to me. But I like Jedi Academy the best. I played that one on PC because that one came out and you can kind of pick your force powers. You want to be more light, you want to be more dark. I was kind of the gray Jedi, so I had both sides of the powers. But and then you could pick different lightsabers. You could do the traditional single sword, a staff, a long lightsaber, and then you could do dual lightsabers. And I always picked dual, and you could go into PvP mode with it. And I would jump off of these ledges and just land and hit my special, and it would like spin the blades around and just kill everybody around me. It was awesome. So yeah, there were some great games out there.
One other game that was pretty awesome was Knights of the Old Republic, or
Yes.
KOTOR, as it was called, and that came out. I think that was a first generation Xbox title. Might have been on PC, but it was a very long single player campaign. But kind of like Jason said, as you start down a path, and this predates the Galactic Empire and all that stuff, and I think it introduces the character that everyone says is the baddest Sith Lord is Darth Revan. I think he's introduced in that series. But that one was really fun, and I'm glad you brought that question up, Ray, because EA, and this kind of segues into the next segment, on gaming, and EA has the exclusive rights from Disney for all Star Wars titles. They basically are the gatekeepers for everything Star Wars. And they've canceled a lot of games, and it just seems like EA's on this path that all they want to do is create dumb games with very little story and thought, mostly like a shooter, the Battlefront 2 games that are quick cash grab games. BioWare is a subsidiary of EA, I believe, and they want to redo Knights of the Old Republic, and EA is basically telling them no. And EA is just for the sake of the franchise and PC and gaming in general, EA's got to figure some stuff out. They're just killing the Star Wars franchise right now, by not allowing other studios to develop games, and basically, they've been shelving games that EA themselves have been working on, and just canceling the projects, all in the sake of this Battlefront craze. So yeah, I hope EA kind of gets their act together a little bit. I mean, Jason, you had something you wanted to add?
Yeah, well, Jaden, the commented there, pointed out something. He's a fan of Battlefront 2, which I like Battlefront 2, but it's just basically a reskin of Battlefield. So it's not really that it's just changing up some of the skins and playability in the game. It's a good game, but I agree with you. I think EA, if it's not a battle royale or sports game, I don't really see much coming out of them anymore. It is frustrating. So, but like Jaden said there in the comments, they hold it until 2023, and we'll see what happens, because they canceled one they were working on, and apparently the writer for Rogue One came out and said it was going to be a great game, but but EA said it was going to be like Star Wars but Uncharted, and they didn't want the Uncharted type game. Yet they hired the game director from Uncharted to be in charge of it, and so it's kind of like, well, you're an idiot there, guys. But yeah, I don't know. I would like. I'm getting really tired of. I feel like independent developers are where the games are really coming quality at right now.
Yeah, I mean, bring back LucasArts, dude. I mean, if you're looking at kind of the trend of gaming, and we've talked about it, several weeks, is PC gaming seems to be more and more commonplace nowadays. I mean, how about bringing back LucasArts and those great PC titles? I mean, you had the X-Wing, the TIE Fighter, the space combat sim games, or Knights of the Old Republic. I mean, shoot, BioWare, like I said, EA owns BioWare. Why can't they redo that game or bring it back or something?
Yeah. Well, what's great is you can go to GOG.com for good. Stands for Good Old Games, and they have all the classics on there. They have Starfighter, X-Wing Alliance, TIE Fighter, Galactic Battlegrounds, Republic Commando, all the old school stuff, which I'm pretty excited about, that I've stumbled upon this, and I'm just waiting for a fair paycheck so I can go buy a bunch and binge play.
What is that?
GOG.com, GOG.com. And just go search in Star Wars, and they all pull up. They're like $5-10 tops.
Oh, nice.
The Lego games are $20, so don't buy the Lego games. Just skip those.
Yeah. Okay.
Hold on.
Go ahead.
Let me ask. So EA, their best-selling games are like Battlefront or Battlefield, right? So it even outsells Madden. I didn't know that. You guys got quiet on me.
Do what?
As far as number one selling games, actually, I think EA's best-selling game is FIFA. So the soccer, like the FIFA series, is actually their number one seller. I remember reading that a couple years ago.
Well, I'm looking at
Um,
the top selling games through October 2018, and it looks like Battlefield is number 3, and that's the only one that's EA. So
huh.
I was like, wow, yeah, I thought FIFA might have outsold Madden too, but no, it doesn't look like it has.
Oh, okay.
Actually,
So where's
the
Madden on that list?
That's what I'm about. I'm looking through for it right now. What were you gonna say? Jason?
The Sims, released on PC back in January 2000, has sold apparently 11.22 million units. That is their largest selling title.
Yeah, I saw that too. Yeah, I just like again, I didn't. I thought EA maybe they feel like they don't need the Star Wars flagship. I mean, I agree with you. If they don't need it, then sell it to someone else or let someone else develop it. But
Well,
I
from a
mean,
cash cow standpoint, you could just rake in money over it. You could put crap out, and people would buy it still.
you
They
think?
do. They bought Battlefront. Battlefront 2.
Yeah, and there was a lot of
Sorry.
rioting around those.
Taking a stab at Jaden. Battlefront. Those are fun games. They are for what they're worth. They're fun games. So.
That's what's up.
Yep.
I mean, yeah. There's plenty of room in the franchise for them to do other things. The Knights of the Old Republic. I think there's a PC-based game just called the Old Republic. Uh, you've had a couple other PC titles. So I wish EA would kind of sublease this out to other studios, let independent studios make something fun, or somebody else. I mean, Jaden, I know we had talked about the concept of a publisher like Bungie, that makes Destiny 2. If they could make a Star Wars title, um, let other companies have a shot at it. And I would agree with that, but the direction EA is going, it just doesn't sound pretty. So
Yeah. We'll see what happens. Who knows? We saw what happened with Bungie and Activision, and they broke up, and we'll see what happens there. Maybe there'll be some more divorces in the gaming industry and break up some of this stuff.
yeah, who knows? Speaking of Bungie, bring this up. A long-running Bungie Destiny podcast called Guardian Radio. These guys have been on the air for like 5 years, and I had been listening to them for a long time. It's a great source just to kind of go get some Destiny updates and Destiny news. And I mean, I've even made friends. We had posted our clan information on there, and they read it on the clan spotlight, and we picked up some members, and these members have become really good friends over the time. So it's sad to see these guys go, and Destiny's in a weird spot right now, especially with the Activision deal and the future of the franchise. And I think those guys are just kind of running out of stuff to talk about. And there's a guy named Mesa Sean who's a pretty famous streamer. He does a lot of daily videos and weekly videos and stuff like that. So I think he's going to continue his deal. But as a podcast in general, they've decided to cease weekly production. I think they're still going to get together and do some big announcements. I mean, if there's something big at E3, then they'll probably do like a reunion show or a next release. They might get together and do stuff. But I just think different. They each have different agendas and different lives, so you hate to see it happen. But they got a lot of good content out there. So if you want to go hear anything about Destiny, I recommend checking out the Guardian Radio, kind of their archives. So.
Hey, Carter, just for a shameless plug, tell us about the clan we have real quick. I just threw the logo up there on the stream.
Our clan is called Strike Team Honey Badger. There's about 60 of us. We range from 30 to 60, depends on what sort of mood the clan leader's in. He goes through band hammers pretty frequently. Hence his name is Harold the Hammer. He goes and kicks out a bunch of people. So it just depends. We've been together for pretty much all of Destiny 2. So you're looking about a little over a year and a half. Good guys. I mean, all kind of middle-aged. There's some younger guys that play with us, but kind of a nationwide following. So we have fun. We get together. We do raids and strikes and play some Crucible and stuff. So Strike Team Honey Badger is our clan name.
Because Honey Badger don't care.
Honey Badger don't care. So, yeah. What else you guys want to talk about?
Well, I've got something I want to talk about, and it kind of goes in line with a lot of stuff we were talking about earlier with Star Wars, and it is around a fan theory that I stumbled upon just from a post on Nerdist that they pulled from Reddit. So, 5 people separated, if you will, but it talks about how there's a theory out there about Snoke and Kylo Ren, and that Snoke is a physical representation of or manifestation of the subconscious of Kylo Ren, and that's how powerful he is. And so I just threw the quote up there is because I'd love to find out that Kylo Ren / Ben Solo was actually that powerful and mixed up in this whole time. And he manifested Snoke into a physical world. It would speak to how ungodly powerful he truly is, and it would build on the new Force-related elements of the new trilogy. So, there's this turmoil up there. If you watched Last Jedi, Luke's dead. Carrie Fisher passed away in real life, rest in peace. And so the Solo Skywalker saga is coming to an end. And we see at the very end of the movie a kid sweeping the floor and uses the Force to grab the broom and stuff, and then Rey's figuring out her powers, but Snoke was just off. He was represented in the whole new trilogy as this all-powerful being that's been around forever and knows all, yet nobody's ever heard of him. He's never shown himself until now, and so it kind of begs to differ. Is this theory pretty accurate? I think it's a reach, but it would be a great direction for them to take the next movie and the storyline further out. What do you guys think?
Ray, I'm gonna let you jump.
That would be horrible. My God, this. Why? Why can't we just say, hey, she is Luke's daughter? Like, I'd have been fine with that. Let's keep it simple, okay? Snoke, they should have never killed off Snoke. No. Okay? No.
I actually like it.
No. Okay.
So you're saying that Snoke is the physical manifestation of Kylo Ren's power?
Yes. So he has this torn issue. He's got this dark side of him that he wants to embrace, yet he has the light side because he still loves his family and has a soul and a heart. And basically it's kind of this the inner demons within your subconscious. You've got the angel and the demon. Well, the demon has physically manifested itself out of the power of the Force from within him and he projects that out, and that's what we see.
I don't know.
Hold on. Wait. Here's my only.
Luke know who Snoke is? Everyone knows who Snoke is.
No, nobody knows who Snoke is.
Why? Everyone does, because everyone's like Snoke turned him.
Yeah. Leia said that in episode 7.
Yeah, but they know who he is, but they don't know where he came from or anything. Like, there's no explanation of him. He just kind of showed up. If he was so powerful and so menacing, where's he been since episode 1?
Now, what was the supposedly his name was an acronym, like Sith no one knew existed. SNOKE.
That's terrible. I can't believe it.
So that was, and that came out like way back. That before episode 7 even came out, that Snoke was an acronym. I'm not gonna buy that. I don't think he could pull that off, because now you're.
So
you're jumping way off a bridge here into metaphysical.
Agreed.
Elements.
But if he's so powerful, how does it he could just literally turn the lightsaber on and kill him without him figuring that out? If Snoke could read his mind and everything else.
Because you let Rian Johnson write your second movie in the trilogy and ruin everything. You have it set up. All you have to do is answer questions. You could have literally made a movie that only focused on the Knights of Ren, and that would have been 100 times better than the bullcrap they put out. Like,
I'm gonna read some comments real quick before we jump into this. James has chimed in talking about Rey. Says she's whack too. I'd rather him be a physical group of midi-chlorians. I'm assuming he's talking about Snoke. Jaden chimes in, says I like it, but I bet they go back to time via the world between worlds, and we find more about Snoke from the past. Then Jaden likes the idea of Snoke being a Force vampire. So, a couple other, and then Jaden's comments, yes, should have stayed with JJ. Absolutely should have stayed with JJ.
Yeah, I was very mad because he basically mapped out the whole new trilogy, and then Johnson came in and was like, I'm gonna put this to the side and do my own thing, and it was terrible.
Yeah. I don't think so. I mean, that's almost goes up there with the theory I read earlier about how Episode 9 is actually going to be a team up where the Resistance and the New Order have to join forces to fight some alien invasion. I mean, I don't know how you're going to pull that off in a 2-hour movie.
Both their parents will be named Martha.
Yeah, exactly. Probably. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. So yeah, I read that on StarWars.com. I don't buy that. It's a fan theory. I'll give you that, Jason. We've all had plenty of theories. I know Ray's hype train on Episode 7. There was a lot of theories around that, and even Episode 8. So I'm gonna pass on that one. I hope they do not go in that direction.
Fair enough.
Yeah, that's all I feel about it. I don't. Next subject.
Well, I mean, unless anybody has anything else, we can go into the Midlife Crisis matinee if we want.
Did you, Ray? What do you got? Something? Let's hear it.
No, I don't want to talk anymore about Star Wars, to be totally honest. But
okay.
I want to bring up something, right?
Okay.
I'm afraid to bring it up because if I bring up something, it's going to bring up something else, and I think we're trying to avoid that something else. So
I do not want to talk about politics or religion.
It has nothing to do with. We don't talk about that on this podcast anyway. So
we're about fun stuff.
I'm gonna try this, and I guarantee you guys will know what I'm talking about as soon as I say this. Okay. So there is a new trailer that came out for Shazam, and Shazam looks amazing. I'm not gonna lie, that movie looks fun. It looks great. At the end, when he says, "I would like to try your finest beer," it looks like that's what movies should feel like. Like, I don't know, it looks like a great movie. Has anyone else had a chance to watch this trailer?
Yeah, I've seen
it. Yeah, I feel like it sounds like. Go ahead.
My favorite part of the trailer is at the very end when Billy Batts and his buddy are talking to this realtor. It's like,
yeah.
We'd like to see something, in a layer, something overlooks up on a cliff overlooking the ocean. You see water crashing, haul it out.
Want to see a waterfall. That was hilarious. Like, I mean, this truly sounds like, and I hope it's this way. I really do. It's big with a superhero twist. I mean, that is what basically Shazam is, right? At its core. And I think that's what the way they're playing it. And if they are, that's amazing. You know what I mean? Let's have some fun. We talk about fun things on this podcast. I guarantee that's fun. I guarantee it's a good movie. And the thing that shall not be named during this podcast, I think because it did so well, it's going to propel Shazam.
Are you talking about
Don't do it.
Aquaman, 11 for 11, baby.
God,
Thank you, Ray.
No, it's 12 for 12 now.
12 for 12. Thank you. For our new listeners, we talk about Aquaman in every episode of the podcast. So that's it. I'm done. Good night, guys. See y'all later.
I'm gonna mute you on Skype, Carter.
Ray, I'm with you. I saw the new trailer. It looks good. I'm curious to see. I'm thinking with you. It's gonna be. I think it's going to be light and funny, but I think there's going to be a dark side to it that they're not showing us in the previews. And I think DC has finally figured out how to edit a good preview. Dr. Zeke, I forgot his name, but whoever Mark Strong's playing, and Mark Strong's a great actor. He actually played Sinestro in the Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern movie.
That's what he did.
Well, let me ask you this. Speaking of another movie real quick, any of y'all watch Far From Home, Spider-Man trailer?
Yeah, I actually saw that too.
I'm curious, is Mysterio supposed to be a villain, or is he going to be a good guy? Because they portray him in the trailer as a good guy. I'm confused.
Everything I've read is he's going to be a good guy.
What? Okay.
Yeah, like he actually works with S.H.I.E.L.D. to... so from what I'm reading, is that the villains of this movie are going to be the elements. So Hydro and Sandman and, I don't know, other people. Yeah, whatever are going to be the people that he's going to have to try to help. To me, the only thing I don't understand is, like, I love the fact that he's trying to leave. He's like, I want to go enjoy my vacation with my friends. I want to go enjoy this summer vacation. And yeah, Spider-Man shows up again. Like, you guys got to know Peter Spider-Man at this point. You have to.
Well,
You're like,
his one buddy does. So I don't think MJ
yeah,
does.
yeah. That's what I'm saying. I think MJ does know. Actually, to be totally honest with you, I think MJ knows, and I know. I think what is his name? Now, if you would have said his one buddy, I would have told you his name. But I believe both of them know. So I don't know. What do you guys think?
I don't know. Out of the Marvel, go ahead.
No, you go.
I was gonna say, out of all the Marvel movies, I enjoy so far Spider-Man and then the Ant-Man movies above any of them, just because I feel like they're a breath of fresh air.
James commented, "I got your Spider-Man answers when you are ready." So go ahead, James.
So apparently, James has seen Spider-Man.
Apparently,
yeah.
James is Spider-Man. I think
James is Spider-Man.
He's been bitten by a radioactive spider.
Cue the theme music.
What is this dude's name?
Spider-Man.
No.
Other Spider-Man. That's the theme music.
So hold on. Since we're talking about Spider-Man and we're waiting on James to answer all these type of questions, so far the best Spider-Man has been the Spider-Verse. That's still a great movie, and I'm surprised neither one of you have seen it yet.
Yeah, I hadn't had a chance to make it to it yet. I haven't, unfortunately.
Ned's his friend's name. But, dude, you guys definitely have to go watch that Into the Spider-Verse. It is a great movie.
James is saying, Mysterio started as a villain, controlling and enhancing villains to look like a hero for fame. Framed Spider-Man.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
James, nobody wants to hear that.
It makes sense, though, because there's the black suit in there for Spider-Man in the trailer, so maybe they're trying to make him look nefarious.
All right, speaking of trailers, have you guys seen the new trailer for Godzilla?
No, I haven't. I watched John Wick Chapter 3, and I can't wait.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Yeah, let's skip over Godzilla because I really don't want to see more monsters fighting.
I do. I'm gonna go see it, but
you need to watch the trailer.
Time out.
It's gonna be monster overload.
You would rather watch fake monsters fighting than John Wick shoot everybody in the face 8 times.
And actually, he's usually a 2-shot man. It's usually once to the knee, and then once they fall down, once to the head. He double taps.
I'm not saying I'm not going to watch both of them, but I'm just saying the new Godzilla trailer looks amazing.
Yeah, it's not as good as John Wick 3. I don't know. Well, hold on. Okay, so let's go from this because this is a conversation we've been having off air, right? And seeing how Jaden and James are around, they've heard this conversation too. So, please,
I know where you're going.
Yes, you know exactly where we're going. If fictitiously, people in the movie cinema world, who are you more frightened of, Jason? I will give you John Wick. We will talk about The Equalizer. We will talk about and this is Denzel's The Equalizer, or Jason Bourne.
So John Wick, Equalizer, or Jason Bourne?
Yes. Who are you more scared of?
Are they coming after me? Like, have I done something? Okay.
Yes, you've done something.
I've killed John Wick's dog. I've just done something, morally wrong with the Equalizer, and then Jason Bourne, I'm a target for assassination. All right.
You won't leave him alone. You won't. You keep trying to find him.
You're trying to sell him aluminum siding.
Right. So who are you more afraid of?
John Wick, probably. I would probably have to say if I needed a bodyguard, it would be John Wick.
Thank you.
Granted, he's what, on his 3rd dog now, so he can't keep the dog alive. So I don't know. Bourne's had two people die on him that he was close to. Equalizer hasn't only had 1. So you know what? I would say as far as protecting me, Equalizer, but as far as coming after me, John Wick.
Thank you. Yeah, John Wick would kill Equalizer, and it would kill.
Dude, that would be a great movie to make.
Negative.
Expendables 4, John Wick versus Equalizer.
John Wick versus everybody. What do you mean negative?
Jason Bourne. It's a no-brainer. It's Jason Bourne.
Jason Bourne can't hold John Wick's.
It's Matt Damon, dude.
It doesn't matter. It's Project Treadstone. It's dude. No, I mean the entire world is afraid of Jason Bourne. He's supposed to be left alone. Just leave me alone. I just want to disappear. Let me be.
Get off his lawn.
I will get off my lawn. I will stop killing people. Just stop.
Hey, Carter.
And they don't. What?
Carter, do you like apples?
Yeah, I got
Oh,
a number. I'm up there, man.
Now you at them apples.
Matt Damon.
Who's scared of Matt Damon? Nobody.
Oh, but you're scared of Bill S. Preston Esquire?
Yes.
Excellent.
It's actually Ted Theodore Logan.
Whatever.
Yes, I am definitely scared of Ted.
Which, hey, they're
Ted
making
Theodore
a script
Logan
for
can go
that
back in
movie.
time.
They've got a script approved for that movie too.
I know they do. That's exciting.
I can't wait. They hung out with Death. Come on.
All right.
And
A lot
Station.
of movie trailers are out. Go watch them. Godzilla, King of the Monsters, Spider-Man, Far From Home looks good. And when are we getting
Neo?
Neo.
The one. Which I really don't think Neo was the one. I actually think that Agent Smith was the one, but that's a whole different story.
Okay.
Conversation too.
You probably been talking to James. That's probably James's theory.
No, I'm just saying.
You can
so
hear
what
that on
else?
our other podcast. It came from the 90s, premiering Never.
That's right. What else? Captain Marvel. We got any new Captain Marvel trailers coming out?
That looked pretty
Anything
good.
Like that.
Hey, so okay, before you skip over that, I've been reading a lot of articles that say they think that Captain Marvel is coming out too close to Infinity War. What do you guys think about that?
Well, she's going to tie into Infinity War, I think, isn't she?
I don't understand how. Like, and maybe that's the part of Infinity War.
Well, he used
in-game. We got to go saying Infinity War. You said in-game because
in-game.
Yeah. I'm really starting to think that all these predictions and these things that people are letting like kind of slip about in-game are totally wrong. Because so far we have how Tony and how everyone is going to go back in time and change things and beat Thanos because they're going to take the stones, and then Hulk is going to train and he's going to beat up Thanos, and that's how they're going to win. They're going to save everyone's life or whatever.
Are we going to get like a Hulk workout montage scene? Like
I hope
Rocky?
so.
Oh,
That'd be
yes.
awesome.
Push it to the
so.
limit.
Right. Something.
Great.
But my thing is, you never hear how she is involved in this movie.
I imagine somehow Captain Marvel connects the dots there. It has to, because he uses the Power Rangers beeper to digitally connect to her somehow and summon her home. So who knows?
But
or I think it's either Captain Marvel or Ant-Man and his ability to manipulate the quantum realm.
Yeah, I think Quantum Realm has
hold
a piece in this too.
Saves Tony. How do you think Tony? Are you guys telling me how Tony gets from outer space to back home, or are you just saying?
I'm saying in general, the quantum realm, time travel, and or Captain Marvel are going to be the three key pieces of this, and I could be wrong.
Yeah, I don't understand how she's in it, but again, like that's why I think that a lot of these scenarios that we're putting out there, we're going to be totally wrong. Because if you think about it, we thought about how the scenarios were going to be for Infinity War. I mean, we all knew what was going to happen at the end, but none of us saw it going that way. You know what I mean? So we all know that some of these heroes will be restored at the end.
James says it's the cat. The cat's the key to the whole situation of Endgame.
What does it have? The galaxy on the cat's necklace or on Orion's belt? Is that what James is saying?
That was Men in Black.
Yes.
Yes. So I don't know. I do think it's an interesting point that Captain Marvel comes out maybe 4 or 5 weeks before Endgame. So that's the closest we've ever had Marvel movies together, if I'm not mistaken. So I mean, it's kind of weird.
I like Jaden's stance. We're gonna watch Captain Marvel's gonna end with her turning into dust from the snap and has no relevance. That would be hilarious.
That would be great. Like that would be like, well, guess
she has no significance here in Endgame, guys. Sorry, we just totally hyped that up for no reason. Thanks for watching the first movie, though.
That would be funny. Appreciate the cash. Jenna James is saying it's look up her cat, guys. So
we know her cat.
Yeah, there's something with the cat.
Really a cat.
Yeah,
cat is like something else, an alien.
It's
or something.
It's a magic cat. It's a Kree scroll.
Basically something like that. So I don't know. Like I said, but as far as the trailer goes, looked pretty solid. I'm still more interested in Shazam than I am Captain Marvel, to be honest. Which is funny because they were both called Captain Marvel at one point.
They were. All right. Well, yeah. So a lot of trailers out there to go watch. You know, the Shazam trailer, Captain Marvel, Spider-Man, Godzilla, King of the Monsters, John Wick Chapter 3, the Baba Yaga, and I don't know if they're making another Equalizer movie or not, but if not, there might be a trailer out there. So, all right, guys. I think
Before we, because I know you want to go, let's talk about something about TV real quick. Did you guys watch the Game of Thrones trailer? Have you guys seen that?
Yep.
Not yet, since we talked about
Yep.
Okay, so I'm gonna give you a little bit of a spoiler then, Carter, since you haven't seen it. So basically, it's the two Starks in the snow. They're down in the what do you call it, Cataclysm?
Hey, he's half Stark. Give him a break. Spoiler alert, by the way. Good job, Ray.
You're the one that spoiled it, not me. Anyway,
bro, we knew he was at the end of last season. You haven't watched last season. Screw you, man. There ain't no such thing as spoilers at this point for Game of Thrones. Anyway, continue.
Thank you. They're down in the catacombs and they see like everyone who's basically passed away, like their mom, their dad, and all these other people. And then all of a sudden, Arya, Sansa, and Jon walk up to these three statues, and it's them, right? So far we know in this the show that everyone who's got their statue down there has passed away. So people are starting to theorize that all three of them are going to die in the last season, and then as they turn around, it's just a gust of I don't want to say wind, but it's like cold fog, and they all draw their swords. So it looks kind of dope.
There was a theory. There was a theory around that too, because the only one that didn't show up was Bran, and there's a theory saying, well, Bran is the cold, and he becomes the Night King, or he actually is the Night King. He wargs back in time and gets stuck as the Night King.
Yeah,
we've heard
that already.
We've heard that theory for a long time.
Bran is also the builder, so he built the wall.
There's also a theory that there's a dragon that lives underneath Winterfell. It's been there. Puff the Magic Dragon. Yes.
Okay.
So, all right. Game of Thrones chat. He's an ancient sea beast monster creature.
Okay.
That's the Kraken.
Whatever. Kraken, which was also in Aquaman. Thank you, Jason, for the alley-oop. Appreciate it.
I hate you.
Aquaman ×2 tonight. You guys, I'm on fire. All right, I think that wraps up the news. Now we're going to roll into the Midlife Crisis Matinee. Ray, take it away.
All right. Well, let me start the trailer real quick. Hold on.
Sit back and enjoy cinematic masterpiece that is The Wraith.
An evil force took his life. An unearthly power has brought him back. He is a phantom, a wraith, a cosmic spirit given another chance.
Are you new in town?
Yeah. Who's the kid?
I turned my back, and the next second he was there. Like magic, almost.
You ever seen one of those before? Nah, let's just add it to our collection.
There's a kid out there using his car to kill people. Not that it's such a big deal, since it seems to be your gang he's got it in for.
Hold on! Grab the shotgun, Mama Luca.
A wraith, man! A ghost! An evil spirit, and it ain't cool!
What are you doing? Packard, stop!
Get in the car!
What are you doing, man? You
Get out of my face, Burger Boy! You wind up dead like your brother!
Hey! Who is that guy?
I don't know, but whoever he was, he's weird and ticked off.
I seen his eyes, Loomis!
Who are you?
Who are you?
The Wraith. If you've done nothing wrong, you've got nothing to fear.
So, I don't know who's about to sew, me or Carter, but I'm gonna take the sew with this. If I die, okay, like let's say a street gang kills me, my hope is that I get a car that I can race to kill out the rest of the street gang. Like that's my only hope after this. Like that's amazing. Okay? I'm just laying as a corpse. Next thing I know, I've got an all-powerful car. Like it's not Kit, okay? Kit just talks to you and it kind of helps you out and tells you where to go. No, this car helps me kill violent street thugs. Come on, tell me what's better than that. Somebody tell me what's better than that.
Optimus Prime.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure, but I did watch a two-hour long Dodge commercial. That's what I watched.
Did you have fun with it though?
I love the movie. I enjoyed the movie back in the 80s. I enjoyed it again. No, it's cool. I mean, yeah, you always wanted to be a Dodge that never existed and go back and beat other Dodges and then guys in Barracudas, which was a Plymouth, which is also owned by Dodge, chase and blow up. And then the only non-Dodge in the whole movie was the Corvette that Packer drove at the end, which any car guy in the 80s knows there's no way in hell that a freaking Dodge is going to beat a Corvette in a street race. It's bullshit. It's not going to happen.
A Dodge M4S Turbo will definitely beat a Corvette.
No, because you got
Did
Chevy,
you watch the movie?
small block.
Did you watch the movie? Did you watch the movie?
Injection. No, there's no way.
Did you watch the movie?
Yeah.
I didn't have to. I didn't have to watch. Fast and Furious to know that a Mitsubishi Eclipse ain't gonna be a Corvette in a quarter-mile race either.
So I love that. That's exactly when I was watching this movie. The entire time I was like, "Wow, this is the '80s version of Fast and the Furious." Okay, that's really all I thought about the entire time I watched it. I was like, "This is bad, but it's better than most '80s movies. It's better than anything else we've probably watched so far, except for Big Trouble in Little China and The Wizard." It's way better than Masters of the Universe, Ray.
First of all, no, it's not. Let's just be honest. Masters of the Universe was a classic, and if you guys would have watched the video before you watch the movie, you'd understand how it's a classic.
It's a classic piece of crap.
We got Shakespeare in that movie. Do we get Shakespeare in this movie? No, we got a Dodge beating a Corvette, and now you guys.
Hey, we got Tiger Blood in this movie. We got Tiger Blood in this movie.
You did get
and Clint Howard. Any movie with Clint Howard, you know, is good. So I thought the movie was fun. It was, there was a lot of '80s cheese to it.
Soundtrack wasn't bad.
Ozzy Osbourne in the freaking soundtrack. I'm sitting here watching this. I was like, is that Ozzy Osbourne? Holy shit, Ozzy's in this soundtrack. So, you go back and Ray, yes, when you die, you get killed by a gang. You hope you come back as a car. And they can kill people. I'm with you on that one. It's kind of cool. Had a cool concept. Very, very unlike anything we've watched so far here in the Midlife Crisis Matinee. So it was enjoyable.
Yeah. I will say that I think one of the best things I saw in the reception was the best joke is having one of the thugs knowing what the word wraith was.
It's a wraith, man.
So I didn't realize it too when I watched the credits. It says dedicated to somebody who and apparently somebody died during production because the car was going too fast when they were filming a chase scene. So,
really?
Yeah. So somebody did die when making this movie. I'll put it on a downer note for us.
Yeah. Thanks for that.
So I like the movie. I honestly think it does age very well. This would be a late night, like you would see it on USA Network's late at night movie or something like that. I enjoyed it, so it'll definitely be in my archives.
It's a total
forever.
popcorn flick.
Oh yeah.
Well, anybody in the audience that hadn't seen it, I highly recommend you watch it. I think it's on Netflix or Hulu, or any.
You can find it on YouTube as well if you work hard enough. If you just search YouTube, you can find almost any movie. I'm finding out for free.
Yeah. So,
you can go to Arizona and wait for a wraith to come driving up and kill street gang.
I was gonna say, just go race a guy, beat him up, stab him violently, and leave his girlfriend for partial dead, and lie about the whole thing, and he'll come back and avenge you, and you'll see the wraith.
Can I ask you a question? And this kind of ties back to what we were talking about earlier. Does that not sound exactly what happened to Jon Snow?
Kinda, but he came back as Jon Snow, not as Jon not Snow.
He didn't have a shotgun with LEDs all over it too to run around and shoot people with. All right, let me ask.
Unlimited
with unlimited ammo and no reload.
Well, you're back from the dead. That you get certain things when you come back from the dead.
I have to ask this one thing. Every time he, spoiler warning if you haven't seen the movie, every time he kills somebody in the car, it always shows like this leg brace thing like Forrest Gump used to wear, like disappearing. What was that? I don't remember. What is that supposed to be?
That's the soul of everyone that was getting ran over.
I don't know. Yeah, you see these little wire parts. I'm not sure what that was. I mean, unless it was supposed to be like parts to make him whole, I have no idea.
No idea.
And then after he crashes their cars, you find their unburned bodies
and
with their eyes sucked out.
Their eyes are like sucked out and blackened out.
Yeah,
that's what happens when
they had the penance stare from the Ghost Rider put on them.
I guess so.
So let me ask you this too: how weird is it at the end of the movie that the Wraith is like, "Okay, everything's good now. I'm gonna take my girlfriend and the body that's not me, and we're gonna drive off somewhere." Anybody else find that to be really weird?
No, I didn't find that weird. What I found was weird is he gave his brother, his little brother, the car.
Yeah, my brother would never do that.
I guess Randy Quaid, Detective Loomis, isn't going to want to look at that car. It's not a been used in multiple homicides. It's
he's basically letting his brother take the fall. Hey, take this car, brother.
Yeah, exactly.
Here, you take this. I'm gonna go take the girl, and we're gonna leave out of state, and you're never gonna see me again. This works out great.
Yeah, drive the car around at night real fast out in the desert and kill people. It's great.
That's so awesome.
So, actually, that car, there was a prototype of that car. I remember when this movie came out, it was a big Dodge. Obviously, put a lot of money into this movie. Dodge Daytonas were in it, and this car, and I remember when they made the car, and I think this is kind of a precursor to the Dodge Stealth that came out later in the '90s. But I think it was kind of the inspiration for that. So, little car trivia for you.
Yeah, it was the Dodge M4S Turbo Interceptor. There was only 4 of them built.
Oh.
And all 4 of them can beat a Corvette.
Negative.
How do you
honestly,
have you ever driven one? Have you ever driven one?
No, I
have you ever seen one beat a Corvette in this movie?
So what year was the I'll do some internet search here. What year do you think that Corvette was from that movie, and what model?
That was probably a late 80s, 85, 86 Corvette.
I say 73.
No.
74.
Trying to see what the 0 to 60 was on it, because the Dodge M4 was 0 to 60 in 4.1 seconds with a max speed of 194.8 miles per hour. So if there's any gearheads out there who want to let me know what the 1980 some odds Corvette's 0 to 60 was.
3.2.
Hold on.
To the internet, Batman. Here we go. 0 to 60 times.com. I am not a car person at all. So let's see here. Chevy, Blazer, those are Camaros.
So they're saying that it was a 1977. 1980. Hold on. Yeah, 1977 Chevy Corvette C3 was the car. 77. Yeah, it makes sense. 80s were more
0 to 60 in 8.7 seconds. So the Wraith was faster.
I told you.
With a top speed of what?
It doesn't say that. I don't have that.
Hey, you don't need to hit your top speed to kill people. Duh.
That's true. They hit you and you die.
My car doesn't. My car just reheals itself. It's self-healing.
But the Corvette C3 is also a street-ready car. The Dodge Turbo Interceptor, blah de blah, is a concept car that didn't have to pass any sort of emission standards, and the Corvette probably outweighs the Dodge by about 6,000 pounds.
Let me ask you a question. Do you think they're worried about emission standards when they're trying to kill people with a car?
They're not. By the way, they're also in Arizona.
Where they have light emission standards? I don't get it. What's that?
They have killer cars.
Killer cars.
Okay. Yeah. The Wraith doesn't care about emissions testing.
That's true.
It'll penance stare anybody. Yeah.
Screw you. I'm already dead. What difference?
Oh, that's funny. All right, so I think that was a good movie choice that I had. Carter, I think all right, I went. So is it Ray? Is it your turn or is it Carter? No, it's Carter. It's your turn because Ray gave us that piece of trash.
It was amazing. I should hit you with my Wraith.
So another movie kind of in this same genre. It took place in the desert and had fast cars, and this is kind of in that same sci-fi-ish genres movie I saw as a kid and wanted to watch it again. It's called My Science Project. You know, a lot of science nerdy movies came out. You had Real Genius, Weird Science, and then this one was kind of the lesser known of the science movies of the 80s. But it was a fun movie. I remembered it, watched it again a couple days ago. Didn't age horribly. You look at the cast, it's like, well, there's a lot of people in this movie that went on to have other careers. But My Science Project, check it out. I think it's probably find it at a Blockbuster near you.
Wow, that's a difference.
What?
You said Blockbuster. That's their catchphrase. Wow, what a difference, Blockbuster Video.
I gotcha.
Oh, gosh.
So,
Isn't that where Captain Marvel fell?
Yes.
Into a Blockbuster? Yeah,
Yeah, she
okay.
fell into
Just
a
making sure.
Blockbuster.
Just making sure.
Yep.
Trying to bring it all around.
Let's bring this
Full
conversation
circle.
full circle with our one viewer. And we lost them.
We lost our viewer?
Yeah.
No more viewers?
All right. I guess we'll close it out.
Yeah. Anyway, good episode. I think we found a lot to talk about. Some cool movies coming out. A lot of stuff. EA's killing the Star Wars franchise, kind of like Rian Johnson. So we'll see if they can improve on that. Maybe win Ray's heart back at some point. But no, I think it was a good episode. You know, once again, you can follow us here on Twitter. At It Came From the 80s, or here on Facebook and Twitter at NerfHerdersPod1 on Twitter. You can find me on Twitter at big_dudes. I'm trying to launch my my gaming page and stuff, so you can also find me on Facebook at Big Dudes, one word at that point. Jason, where can they find you?
You can hit me up on Xbox if you want to. It's No Says I, SEZ, I as an eyeball. Just been playing games. I'm thinking about doing something with streaming as well. I thought about doing something, just kind of talking about some of the classic 90s PC games, streaming that, and reminiscing as I play them. I don't know if I get time. So, Ray, what about you?
You can find me in your friend requests because I'm going to be sending them out tomorrow with Critic After the Credit. And after I send it out, I think I'm actually going to get on Facebook Live and Instagram Live tomorrow and just start bashing movies. Actually, I'm probably going to talk about Glass because I was going to do a review for it for my first review. I don't think that I am. I think I'm just going to talk about the movie, and I'm sure no one else has really seen it. I'm not going to spoil anything, but
does it have a twist?
It's interesting. Sure, why not?
It's an M. Night Shyamalan movie, so it's got to have a twist.
Yeah, I mean, it's got something. I can't, again, like we were talking about this off air, it depends on what you're looking for from this movie, if you'll enjoy it or not. So, I mean, I guess I'll start with that, and I'll talk about other movies to where, hey, you think you're going in for a certain reason, you get disappointed or you get misled, and that kind of like ruins your feeling about the movie, or it might even it might heighten. I don't know. It's hard to explain without you. Just come listen to me tomorrow. We'll talk about it. I'm sure I'll make less sense tomorrow.
So, what is your? I mean, Critic After the Credits. What are you trying to launch there? What's the purpose?
What's the purpose? My audience is all you people who sit here and listen to this, or just people who want to hear me talk. To be totally honest, I'm going to talk about movies. I'm going to talk about TV shows. I'm going to talk about what I feel like talking about. And if you like me, if you like having conversations with me, then join me tomorrow and we'll talk about these things.
Okay, cool.
So basically everything and nothing.
All right. No, that's all good.
Everything.
All right, guys. Well, I mean, I think that kind of sums up this episode. 12 for 12 with Aquaman. I'm kind of excited about that. We'll see how we can work him in next week. Maybe Ray can toss me a little meatball up again, and I'll slam it home. But guys, like us on Facebook, Twitter. Leave us feedback. Let us know Any thoughts, ideas? We had some good interaction tonight. I thought was good. So we're getting an audience. We're getting some traction. I'd like to see that continue. Make some recommendations. If we talk too much about video games, tell us to stop talking about video games. Say, bring up books and Dungeons and Dragons or whatever. Make some. We'd always appreciate feedback. Let us know we're doing good. So we don't consider to waste our time if no one's listening, because that's not fun for anybody.
It's fun for me.
Fun for I'd rather be asleep. But anyway, I appreciate everyone tuning in tonight, and you can download our podcast on iTunes and Spotify. Jason get the podcast loaded up there, so everyone can access it through your media source of choice. And we will talk to you guys next week. And as always,